Hey guys, Sophisticated Serpents here, and today we're going to be talking about breeding your ball python. I'm here with this beautiful big Mojave. This will be her 4th year laying for me, and she's always one of my most faithful, has gone every single season and actually has follicles right now, some small ones just starting to form. And the way that I breed is I go through temperature cycling. Some people do, some people don't. It's personally the way I like to breed my ball pythons. So I go through a period where I'm simulating winter. You can actually do this at any point in the year, but it's obviously easier if the temperatures are cooling down outside, and also because typically around winter we're going through barometric pressure drops, which it's not as significant with ball pythons as it is with other species, but still can use all the help you can get sometimes. So the way I do it is the day after Thanksgiving, I actually take my hot spot from 89 to 90 degrees and cool it all the way down to 84 degrees with about a 77 to 78 degree cold side. Now I've already been feeding really heavy going up into that, sometimes 2-3 times a week, but once I cool down, I'm actually gonna barely feed them if I feed them at all. Because if you're feeding heavily during that period, you can actually risk a respiratory infection. So small meals are key if you're gonna be doing that, because obviously they need the higher heat to digest the bigger meals, so you wanna keep it small if you're gonna be feeding them. And that's when I start doing intros. About a week after I cool, I start throwing in my males. Whether or not your female has follicles, you still want to do introductions because they can actually store sperm for up to 2 years. So once you get those locks, you're doing great. Now the way that I do it is there's different sizes of follicles, and we do have a video that we posted about a week ago about how to palpate for those follicles. But when I'm really trying to get a perfect clutch, I like to first right around, they'll feel a little bit smaller than marbles. It's when I like my first lock. They'll get a little bit larger, and then I like to do a second lock, and then about 2 to 3 weeks later, they'll get almost the size of ping pong balls, which is typically right before they ovulate, and that's when I like to make sure I have a really successful lock right around that period. And then also when they ovulate, just to make sure, I want to make sure I leave that male in there for a couple days just to make sure that she's all good and fertile. And then pretty much starting about January 1st to January 15th, kind of depending on how everything's going, I raise my temps back up, start feeding heavily again to make sure that they know that there's enough calories in their system for their young, which is something they look for in the wild to make sure that there's enough food for their offspring to survive. So I raise up those temps back up to about 88 to 89 degrees, keep the cold side at about 78, keep introducing, you'll see them ovulate, which right here, it'll look like they ate a rabbit or a huge rat, and it'll be about, or like a football is the best way to say it. And that will be their ovulation. About 2 weeks after that, they're gonna shed, and then about 30 days to 35 days after that, they're gonna be on some beautiful pearly white eggs, guys. If you guys have any questions, as always, send us a message. Hope to see you guys next time. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Peace out.